Hi guys, and welcome to your daily tarot reading for Thursday, the 18th of August 2022. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to use the Tarot of the Celtic Fairies today. Let's see what these cards want you to be aware of and what this day is all about. So let's have a look. First card is the Nine of Spears. Okay, looking very different here. The Nine of Spears is the Nine of Wands, and the card says that the worst is behind you. The Ace of Wands is a fabulous new opportunity when it comes to realizing your life purpose and to live a life that's based on who you truly want to be, which is exciting. And then finally, we've got the Queen of Spears, and this is a woman who actually makes it. Here, it's kind of a violent scene, but it's saying to me that sometimes we need to fight for this version of ourselves that we see in our minds, both in the sense that we have to overcome our own obstacles and own inner kind of hang-ups that keep us from maximizing our own potential. And then sometimes the world or other people who don't want us to change or who aren't particularly invested in seeing us thrive or moving on, because it would impact them negatively. So sometimes you have to stand your ground and say, well, actually, this is important to me, therefore I'm going to do it. So we've got three cards in the suit of spears, which is wands in the regular tarot. So we've got three fire cards. So the day is a fire day, and fire is a masculine element that says, I can build something that is really, really important to me and that causes a huge amount of energy to kind of combust internally because I care so much, and I can create something that's incredibly powerful. Fire obviously is pretty volatile, so it can go off the rails. It can veer off into anger or destruction, or things don't always go 100%. But obviously, if you're building something with the element of fire, you know, once in a while you'll get burnt. Doesn't mean you shouldn't ever try again, but it means that it feels risky and scary and difficult. And then finally, fire burns things away and then leaves ash. And to me, that's always been a symbol for cleansing. So it's almost like you're able to cleanse away the things that have haunted you in the past, and you've left that behind you, and you've turned a corner in terms of your strength. And again, it's been such a big theme, and I even said this in yesterday's reading, that the identity, the real self emerging has been such a theme in the last couple of weeks. It continues here. Some of your hang-ups that have haunted you for ages and ages and ages, they are replaced with strength today, so that you can pursue the thing that has always been important to you before life intervened and got in the way. And you have the conviction and the constructive frame of mind to say, I'm going to work towards realizing my ideal future. I've been given a second or third or fifth or 800th chance here. I'm now going to do this because I'm experiencing some sort of inner freedom that I haven't experienced before. So you are able to leave all the nonsense behind you. So here, the Nine of Swords, usually it's 9 swords lined up to create a wall, and then someone standing in front of this wall with a bandage on his head. He's got one wand in his hand, and he looks back over his shoulder and he's like, oh, look at how far I've come. I'm still a bit miffed about it because I banged my head, but at least the worst is behind me and now I can move on in future. And he holds one wand, which is kind of like the Ace of Spears anyway, which says, this is what I've decided to focus on and put my energy into, and I'm going to make it happen. Here it's different. Here we've got this fairy floating around and all this blue, and it seems like excessive emotions were a problem. And then we've got this cross with a circle, and it highlights the intersection between the emotional spiritual realms and the physical realms. And here we've got this fairy with a bionic arm. So he's been injured. Now it's almost like this healing force comes in, waves its magic wand, he is healed, And he's now able to get back up and continue on. Oh, and the interesting thing about this depiction of the Nine of Swords is that the hardship made him stronger. This card is saying today you have the freedom to overcome one of your own issues, but the reality is that you did have that issue. And it taught you so much, and you've become so expert in that topic, and you're so resilient and strong in that field now, that you're better than you were before. This guy is much stronger than he was before he got the bionic arm, obviously. And even the wings have changed. From blue, they've now got this red tinge here. So he doesn't just exist on a spiritual, emotional level. He also exists on a physical, flesh and bone level. And the cards are reminding you of that as well, that spiritually you're in a good place. Use that strength and that conviction to strengthen yourself physically, to heal yourself physically, to give yourself the mind over matter chance and tap into this and say, hey, actually, I've got loads of things in the future that I'm excited about, that I'm positive about. Your physical body is going to rise to the occasion to give you the energy to do all of this. And often, you know, when you're excited about something, like, let's say you have a horrible toothache, and you've got a day plan that's super exciting with friends and you're going places. You do all this stuff and you forget the toothache. If you have the same affliction and the whole day is empty and you've got nothing to do except sit there and obsess over the pain in your tooth, it gets worse and worse and worse and just takes over the whole thing. So it's the focus, the strength that allows you to overcome physical and spiritual issues and to move forward to realize your life purpose. The Ace of Wands is this gift from the universe that says, here's your passion, run with it. We support you. So you've got that going. But here again, it's different. It's kind of violent. We've got all this blood on the arrow tip. And this deck, I suppose, is saying that, you know, sometimes you do have to, it's not that you have to, like, you know, get into a fight and behead people and stab them and stuff. It's that sometimes simply you have to put your foot down and say the answer is no. And that to a lot of people feels violent, to put a boundary in place. It's like, I can't tell someone no. That's like me doing this to them almost. It's like a total violation. The cards are saying it's important to have boundaries. You can't realize your own purpose if, you know, you're down here doing something else that someone else has told you to do, really. But what's interesting to me is this little thing here. It looks like a devil's face to me. And the devil is a card in the major arcana that says you're too focused on the physical. And all this violence and blood and the devil imagery, to me, it's bringing a theme into the reading, which says you're able to not only be strong spiritually and to have that conviction, but you're able to heal physically and to overcome physical limitations. So it's spiritually, it's escaping a thing that you thought you had to bow to because it's bigger and stronger than you, and that goes poof and you realize you were wrong and the whole thing is just gone. On a physical level, it's like the toothache, or being in a situation where you're under a lot of financial pressure, but you've got to move, you've got to go, and you find a way to just escape almost. And then you sort out the details on the other side, and physically you're taken care of through that process. So the gift here is that you have tapped into the way you felt when you were 5, before anything bad happened that made you think you were weak or flawed or susceptible or anything like that. You get your power back by remembering the real version of you, and not only the real version, but you're now stronger than that 5-year-old because you've gone through stuff. But now you've got that purity of vision and thought back along with the experience, which puts you in this queen position where you're now qualified to rule your life purpose, rule your life, to be in charge. And this Queen of Spears, usually it's like, in my deck, it's a woman opening her art gallery presentation, you know, like really nice, and people are eating canapes and stuff and applauding. Other Queen of Wands just have her sitting on a throne with a nice, cute little cat. Here she's like this, I don't know, she's like a warlord. Look, she's standing up there saying, and then she's got this behind her, pretty gruesome, and her soldier, or, you know, everyone's fighting and she seems to be putting her stamp of approval on it. So this is a woman who is interested in getting her way and power, and the means justify the ends and all that stuff. But the takeaway, I feel, is that she is so convinced and certain that this is important, that she is in the right direction, that she's willing to do all of this to other people just to get what she wants. And what that says to me is you're certainly not going to be fighting self-doubt here. You're very clear on what you want, to the point where you become morally somewhat flexible, the way she could. So watch out for that. To pursue what you want and to make sure you get it, and you feel much stronger than you ever have. So it's almost like all of your experiences, good or bad, they kind of combine to say this is the person you are now, and you've been upgraded since the age of 5. So use these new skills and all these upgrades to create a more amazing upgraded life for yourself. Number-wise, we've got 9, and 1 is 10, and another one is 11. 11 is the master number of service, and that's also appeared quite a few times recently. And it's basically saying that this is the season where you can truly serve yourself by not aiming low so that you don't have to exert yourself and take a risk, but to aim as high as you want and to make it happen for yourself and to manifest the life that you deserve. And I said that at 11:11, and that means a lot to me. You manifest the life you deserve. Yeah. And you deserve an amazing life, whether you think... The only thing that puts a limit on that is your imagination. Have an amazing day. If you'd like a personal reading with me, where I look at your birth chart and your tarot cards and your numbers to see what your purpose is, what's coming up in future, what the pluses are, what the minuses are. If you want me to have a look at that, then please do get in touch with me for a personal reading. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Please hit subscribe and share the video online. Have an amazing day, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.